Hi, everybody. Welcome to, I was going to say, I always get mixed up. I was going to say Cartoon Arts Center, but it is Cartoon Arts Center. If you are not a member yet, you can join. This is one of our meetups. We're going to be doing some comics and drawing and talking, and I'm really excited because this is the first time that I've done comics and talks on live stream. I've done comics and talks in person at a coffee shop before, but this is the first time I'm doing it live stream, and I think this is going to be cool because if you are thinking about making a comic or you want to make a comic, and you're not sure or you want to get some ideas, hopefully I can give you some. I am pretty new at this. I've been doing character design and illustration for a long time, but I'm working on my first huge project, which is a graphic novel. It's going to be, oh my goodness, how long? The first volume is going to be about 80 spreads, so that's 160 pages of illustrations that I have to do for this. And I want to be sharing it with you, so that's why I'm doing it here and give you guys an introduction to what I'm doing. Hopefully, I can give you some kind of insight. If you have any questions, I'm open for questions and open for talking. If you want to bring up any certain topics that you want to discuss during this hour, let me know and I will be happy to discuss those with you. So let me go on into our Photoshop window. And actually, let me see what I'm doing right here. All right. So let's see if I can move to my Photoshop. No, where's it? Where's it? Photoshop. There. Okay, so hopefully, if everything went well, yes. You can see that in here I have my comic that I'm working on. I'm going to go to the full size. This is the actual layout. And this is the spread that I'm working with so far. I'm still doing the outline. As you can see, this is the clean line that I'm working on that I started doing. I started doing a new version today, so just brand new. This is the fifth spread in the book so far. And you can see these are my thumbnail drawings. These are actually what I did in my little comic. And let me think. Let me show you. I feel like I want to show you like what the actual first process looked like. So let me start with play the background. Play like that. Let's see, maybe not guess what you. Okay, let's watch that. And let me show you what I'm doing. So this is what the first process looks like. This is the first book. No, this is book 2. So I basically did a little more than 2 of these. And these are, how many pages are they? I think they're 80 pages each. So in each of them, there's 160. No, there's not. There's 80 pages. Oh, yes, 80 pages. So that means double that is 160 pages. So this is what the whole thing looks like. These are all my thumbnails, which go up and stuff. These are all my thumbnails, and this is what it kind of looks like, the first initial process. And it's like some of them are really shaded. Really trying to get my first initial feel of what I want my final book to look like. And so these are all the thumbnails, which I am then translating into my final pages. Okay, so now that you see what that looks like, let's go back to the comic. And this is it. And so I have those original pages here. And then I'm going to go ahead and clean them up. And that's what I've been doing so far, making the actual, what do they call it? My little boxes. I know I'm not, my right terminology is not always there, but my little panel boxes, I don't know, whatever. Anyway, I made these and I'm finalizing my illustration. As you can see, I have my character here. This is a villain. If you couldn't tell already, he's kind of kicking these people out right now. He's kicking these people out of the village, and they're all kind of sad. But let's keep moving, and I'm going to go ahead and talk while I draw. And if you guys have anything that you want to add, just let me know. Let me see. I'm using Photoshop, and I made my own brush, and let me see if I can find the original brush. The original brush was, I think it was this one, which is, what is it called? Yeah, it's this one. That one's called Chalk 23 Pixels. So I took that and I squinched it together, which you can do here right in the window. You can squinch it together, and I turned it on a diagonal, which you take the little arrow and I turned it, and that's how I made my brush. Like, really simple. I didn't do a whole lot, but I made my brush that way in Photoshop CC. It's like 2015, but it's like the that's what it says, Photoshop CC 2015, but it is the cloud version, the Adobe Cloud, and they updated, so it's the most up-to-date version of Photoshop, I guess, that they have right now, and it's pretty inexpensive if you're a student. I'm a student, so it's pretty inexpensive. It's like $20 a month for the first year to get like the whole Adobe suite. I think it's only $10 if you just want Photoshop. If you want the whole Adobe suite, it's like $20 for the first year, then it goes up to $30. So mine is like at $30 for like the whole suite, which is good because me and my husband both use a bunch of different Adobe software. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I just wanted to give you a little bit of insight in case you weren't sure about the programming that I'm using. Okay, so let's keep moving. So, if you're professional, I think it goes up to like $50 a month or something like that. Maybe, I'm not sure. But students, even if you are a professional and you are a student professional, you still get the student price. So being a student, I mean, being in school is expensive. So at least there are some benefits to that. I'm just going over some of my lines here. Trying to even up wherever I see anything that's not where I want it to be. I'm adding my grass line. Just coming past this guy right here. Okay. I don't want to make it perfectly even because it is supposed to represent grass and brush, and I want it to look like grass and brush, not just like it's you know, really mechanical type of line. And I'm just going to create some plants. I did use some references. I haven't, even though like my town that I'm using for the story, it's called Kyberia. It's a fictional town, but it is based largely off of a town that I chose in southern Kenya. So I used some imagery to see the plant life and, like, you know, the type of, I guess, different trees and flowers that you would see. And I used the references just to get an idea, and then I kind of make up my own little plants that are similar to those. Trying to make it look like the environment, but you know, you still want to just be playful with it. It doesn't have to be super perfect. If you've never made a comic before and you're stressing about stuff like backgrounds, maybe you're not as comfortable with backgrounds. That was something that I went through because I was much more adjusted to doing characters. So doing backgrounds can be like a new challenge if you're not used to it. But the good news is, if you look at a couple of layout designers, even like really well-known ones that have worked for Disney and major studios like that, a lot of their work is really loose and playful. Like if you look at some of like the layouts for different feature films, you see like how playful it is. It's not supposed to be super realistic all the time. I mean, it can be if that's like the feel that you're going for, but in my case, that's not, you know, what I find enjoyable to do. I don't want to spend hours and hours rendering backgrounds. It just doesn't sound fun to me. I always like art to be fun for me and sort of a safe place to go, not like something that I'm gonna dread doing. So I always like to have fun with stuff like this. And now backgrounds are not so bad. Now that it's become sort of a fun thing that I can just know that I can play around with it. I don't have to take it overly seriously. That said, I still think that you should look at some references. Don't make up everything from your head with no resource. One artist told me, a really cool artist, that I got to visit one time. He does background painting. He's a professional background painter. But one of the things he said is that you're only as good as your reference. And I thought that was pretty a cool thing to say, just because it's not that you have to copy your reference, but how are you going to know what something looks like if you've never seen it before? Or how can you even imagine something new without having seen something similar before? Get out of here! Cat's going crazy again. She's a wild one. But anyway, what about my cat? Let's see. She's making a bunch of noise, meowing. I don't know. In the middle of the day, she just likes to meow for no reason. I don't know why. Just her thing. But anyway, as he said like you're only as good as your reference. And it's true, because as artists, I just feel like looking at reference is just part of the process. It's just part of what you need to do to just get ideas, get inspired. Don't copy, but make something new. Like you see right now, I'm just going for it and making stuff. So make something new, but at the same time, get inspired first and then make some new stuff. Try to make it look lively. You don't want it to look too dead, You want to have things going on. I wonder if anyone has questions about doing backgrounds that are probably maybe new to backgrounds. So, let's see. Yeah, I'm really loving this brush because I was having a bit of a challenge. I wasn't sure, like, some of the lines that I was doing weren't really happening how I wanted them to, and I wasn't really sure how to do it. But since making this brush, I feel actually a whole lot better. Now it's starting to come and look like more like what I had imagined. I think we all have to have a picture in our mind for what we want the art to look like, and it's really frustrating when that picture doesn't come out how we want it to. It can be very, very frustrating. Every time I see like really thick brush like this, I think, oh no, there's gonna be a lot of bugs in there. That's like my first reaction whenever I see really, really thick brush. I'm like, I'm not getting too close to that. I don't know what's living in there. Especially if it's tropical climate, then there's gonna be some kind of bugs in there. And then when you live in a dry environment, it's like there's probably snakes in there. I don't know. I think tropical environments have a lot of snakes too. I know that there were snakes when I was living in Florida. We would get snakes sometimes. Most of the common ones that I would see all the time were the garden snakes, which are these black snakes that are not poisonous, but they kind of come out of nowhere and they shock you for a minute or two. You're just like, oh my god, it's a snake, and oh, it's a garden snake. But still, it's a snake. And I don't really like snakes. Not that I don't like them, but just I don't like them close to me. Oh, I'm gonna make a house here. Like, I don't have one in my bedroom. Maybe just like some kind of structure. Just something. this is just like the end of someone's building. Wanted to get like it needed something else right there. Big flat. And make some more. I think I want to make some more trees popping in the background. More palms. You know, you can see like the palms in the far distance. All the different sizes. You see a lot of those here in California, and you can see them in a lot of places that have tropical climates. Well, I don't know. Well, never mind, because California is not tropical, really. It's a weird environment because we have like these pretty plants and things like this, but super dry. I don't know what you call that. Kind of like a tropical desert. So I think that's a thing. I don't know what the proper name would be called, but I know what it feels like. Make some more of these things coming down. Change this last one. I don't really like the shape of that. The shapes matter. I like to make pleasant looking shapes. I don't want it to all look too easy, effortless, sure, but not like lazy. That makes sense. I don't want it to look like you're not thinking about where things are ending up. I definitely want to have that. Another palm tree. Let's see, anybody? Far away ones. Try and make some bit of character in the leaves. It is really a small world. You know, my professor was talking yesterday. I have this class, like an art theory class that I'm taking now, and he was talking about just recently he went to New Mexico to give a talk at UNM, and UNM is the University of New Mexico. It's the big university over there. But anyway, he was saying he went to do a talk in New Mexico and how he got to see all the city in Albuquerque and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. I used to live in New Mexico. I lived there for 6 years. That's where I lived right before I moved here to California. So I don't know. It's funny how small the world is. So it seems like because when I was in Albuquerque, like LA seems so far away. It seemed like such a long, impossible place to get. It was like I was living there for like 2 years before I even came to LA, even though I always wanted to, like, not even to live, but to visit. And I lived there for 2 years without even visiting LA, and because it just felt like it was so far away, and it felt like it was, the impossible dream, I guess. That's how I had thought of it. And it really wasn't. It really was really close by, and I just never visited it actually until I went on my honeymoon, which was in San Diego. So I was close enough to say, okay, well, let me visit LA. And that was really nice because I got to visit my mentor then. Well, my mentor, who I still consider to be one of my life mentors, who I don't necessarily talk to still, but a mentor figure, was Dan Haskett. It was really nice. Very, very nice. To both me and my husband, he gave a tour of the Warner Brothers studio in Burbank, so that was really cool. This is supposed to be the bush, and the bush is super thick with bush. Of course. So we're making progress. Can we get all of these little things in a row before we'll probably be working on this background actually for a while before we actually move on to doing color. I thought we would get to color today, but probably, well, not within this 1 hour that we have to work together for sure. But I will show you guys what it looks like when it's all colored. Okay, now let's see. Let's zoom out a little bit. Let's see what this is looking like. Another layer coming through this way. Let's see what it looks like without the that. Fill in this area a bit more. This seems to go. I like how it's coming out so far. Save. And I'm going to add another layer here. Bush. I'm going to break out from this part. And I'll add in some more detail with like the leaves and stuff. And it's too lovely. Right. I don't like how how it gets there. I'm gonna take that out. You'll make it go in this way. Is that good? I think that's pretty good. There, I think that will work. There, that's better. I like that. Okay, so now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think, layers. Let me fix this. Let me just go back. I'm thinking about my composition the whole time. I want to make sure the composition looks nice. Doesn't affect anywhere. Oh, I know. I'll make this, and that. Okay. So now what? Now I'm going to save. Remember to keep saving throughout. And to add some details to what's happening here. As far as foliage, leaves, grass, plants, all that maybe sprouting out through the brush. Try and make them look a little bit distinct on their own, not too repetitive. Just playing around with it, thinking about the composition the whole time. Let's see. One of the things that I want to avoid, but even almost said it right now, almost like some of these brushes, like some of these foliage reminds me of Lion King. But I want to avoid that idea, but not reject it at the same time. I mean, that's not an insult for sure. If something resembles a Lion King, I mean, it was a beautiful movie. But I don't want it to be like every cartoon animation that's based in Africa is gonna look like the Lion King. That doesn't sit with me very nicely. I don't like that. Or at least the popular ones in America. I don't like that idea. I want, there's so many stories to be told from a huge continent, and they shouldn't, all feel the same way. I don't want it to get that vibe, But at the same time, it may run into something just because it's kind of based in the same area. I mean, obviously, The Lion King is a fiction, but Simba the Lion was actually a folk tale that originated out of Kenya. I know that because there's a lot of African folk tales, and there's a lot of Swahili that's spoken in Lion King. Even the name and word Simba is a Swahili term meaning lion. And so my story is also a Swahili story. There's going to be Swahili used. It's also on the eastern coast of Africa, around the Kenya area. So it still is in the same region. So I understand that there will be some similarities, but I don't want it to be categorized into that, as like being a Lion King type of story, because it's absolutely not even close to anything like that. But there is actually a lion in my story, but he comes much later, and he's actually comes from the folk tale I was talking about, which I really love. There's a great little book. It's a little booklet called African Folk Tales. I got it on Amazon for literally like $1. It's super cheap. Really inexpensive little paperback book. It has like, I don't know, good 12 stories, little like couple page stories. I really like it a lot. It's not really necessarily children's stories, because some of them are like more in the same way that many ancient folk tales are told. They're not necessarily for like friendly for kids all the time. Even like Little Red Riding Hood, like if you really think about it, it's a really horrible book. Even Cinderella, if you go back and you read like the original story, it's not friendly for kids. So I mean, a lot of, in the same sense, it's a lot of like harsher content in some of the stories. That's similar to like what you would see in European folk tales or folk tales from any culture. But it's a good read. So if you're interested, check it out. It should still be on Amazon. I don't see why it wouldn't be super cheap, like $1. Maybe. Point is, it won't break the bank by any means. Now let's see, what else can we add? Some more. Add like some. There's depth. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. It's like depth now. Add to what's going on. There's leaves. There's some foliage happening. Maybe there's some birds. I can't have all of this bush and have no birds. It's gonna be. It's just there's always birds. I always see my little raven friends whenever I pass tall trees. I love ravens. They're always close by me. Lots of trees. They love trees. Birds love trees, obviously. So I feel like it would only be realistic to add some birds flying by. And I'll add some clouds, but a little bit after. Make it some more foliage happening. What type of leaves I'd like to add? I want to kind of, because when I walk and I hide, you see like there's lots and lots of brush, and it can all look like it's all kind of jumbled together if you're not really paying that much attention. But whenever I take a close look, there's so many different types of plants. It's crazy. Like they're all different. There'll be like families of different species of plants, and they're all mixed in. They're all like mixed into these little areas, and I just think it's really cool. It's really cool to notice. Really pay attention to all the plant life that's happening out there. So there'll be like big groups of families of plants that are the same, and then you look, there's 20 other groups right in the same area. So neat, I think.
Little plants going on, like some happy trees, like my friend would, Bob Ross would say. I should say our friend. I mean, who's not friend of Bob Ross? Can't be human and not be that man. It's really cool. I don't even know if they're real plants like that. What's the matter? They look like they're supposed to be real. Feel real to me. Why shouldn't they be real? And this is probably a long time to spend on one panel of a comic, but it depends on the type of comic you want to make. If you're making something really silly, which I mean I do all the time in my sketchbook, like really rough. You can see my Instagram. My Instagram is pretty much flooded with like super rough one, what do you call it? One time or like one run. It's like a one time thing. It's just like there's no prep, there's no cleanup. It's just drawing. That's it. This is my drawing, this is my gag, and that's end of comic. And that's what I love to do in my sketchbook. But when you're making something that you want to be a little bit more permanent or like thought out, then I think it's okay to do both. Like you can do like your rough stuff in your sketchbook and just like experiment with jokes and stuff like that and just see how people respond to your gags or whatever. And I think that's a great practice, especially like drawing people and animals and just, you know, making a thing from it. But then there's a time, when you might want to do something that feels more serious or more thought out or more like rendered. You know? Hopefully that makes sense. Alright, I'm going to do a little bit of cross-hatching on some of these. Not all of them, obviously, but some of the closer up ones, I won't bother with the ones that are far away, except for some of the palms. Right. A little bit of cross-hatch. Do some of these. A little bit of texture, a little bit of depth to some of this stuff. You guys haven't really seen me do comics much on here before, or have you at all? I don't know that I've done much comics really on YouTube. So let me know what you think of what I'm making or how you think of what you've learned at least about my concept. I might not have the whole story, which is, going into even more detail, but what do you think so far? I'm open to light commentary. You're polite. Everyone's been polite to me so far on YouTube. I'm really happy with that. Really, really community for artists on YouTube, I think. There's a lot of supportive people that come to YouTube looking for ideas and suggestions and help, and I'm one of those people, and I just appreciate that there's this available for us. We must stick together. Oh, as artists, we must, we must increase our drawings. Okay. Okay, I like that. I think that's good for this. I'm gonna add just some clouds, and then the rest will be color. I'm not even gonna think too much about anything else much on here. Maybe I'll add some more detail for the road here. Add a little bit of road detail, make it look like people are actually walking and it's actually dirt and stuff. Those minor details. glass and stuff. Pebbles or something. A bit bigger. Not much. I make it look a little bit more like actual round. I like this a lot going on. It is. It's a lot, but it's okay. It's not like it's, you know, it's not like it's complicated. It's just adding information, just like little bits of information, like will help. Make it feel more clear. It's just little ding marks here and there, and it feel like actual road and stuff, and dirt, and that sort of a deal. Make it really clean. All right, there we go. I like it. I think that looks pretty nice. I'm looking for, it feels like what I'm looking for. And so I like it. Oops. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and add a couple of clouds. I can do these little simplistic clouds. Right. Really complicated or anything like that. I like doing clouds like this. It is no fuss clouds. Okay, that should be good. That's enough clouds for me. And let's go and see what's next. This is my original under here. So here's my wicked bad guy. I have my original drawings of him too. So I might gonna go ahead and go to my drawing layer, which is where I'm doing my top drawings on top of my thumbnails to add any extra details that I felt like needed to go. So if I needed like to add some stuff, let's see. He's like a bad guy. He's not really a people person, but he has not really charismatic. Well, I don't know. He is charismatic actually. He's just not friendly. I think most dictators, he's a dictator type, are very charismatic. I heard that Hitler was very charismatic. And then to bring up like the worst, most infamous also dictator. But I think they all have a degree of charisma, or else how are they able to, get so many people to follow their wicked plans, wicked ideas? It's because they're convincing and they sound like, oh, that makes sense. Like, oh, that sounds like it makes sense. But even though it's millions of people might be hurt by this, or even 10 people might be hurt by this, it sounds like a good idea. So here's my look at that guy's scheme to rid the town of these foreigners and their foreign ideas that I don't want here in our town. Well, why are you accepting these guys? They don't belong here. They're not one of us. I think that's the easiest way to divide us. Not one of us. Everyone who's like, no, they're not one of us. Seems familiar, doesn't it? I hope you guys voted yesterday. Hope you guys voted. It didn't turn out excellent, but I think a lot of people really tried. So, I mean, I think we all deserve a pat on the back for that, at least trying. And in some states, I think the people spoke better than other states, but, you know, it is what it is. I don't like to be overly outright about politics usually, but I think sometimes it's important. I think sometimes it really matters, especially now that we have someone in power that I'm not in agreement with at all. So I just feel like sometimes we need to be more outspoken, even if it might be uncomfortable. So not to push any ideas on anybody, but I think it's important that we get on vote, and hopefully you did yesterday. You were able to. I don't know. You could be watching from a whole other country, and maybe they don't have election days at this time. Or I don't know what your election days are or when they are. I'm not sure how it works internationally when your polls are. YouTube is international. That's something that I always have to remember sometimes. I have to even, remember sometimes that people are watching out of state, but that's out of the country. What? There's other countries? There's other countries. It's so weird. It's so awesome though. I want to like to meet more people live in other places. I would want to get to know more people that live elsewhere and have other ideas and concepts. Oh no. I've been drawing on the clean line this whole time? No. Oh no. Yes, I have. Dang it. I've been drawing on the wrong layer. Don't laugh at me. I can hear you laughing at me. Don't laugh at me, please. Alright, let's move this to the correct layer. I'm gonna cut this out. I'm gonna have to then fix my line. Paste. Oops, no. Undo. And paste in place. Alright, now I'm gonna move this to where it's supposed to be. And I'm gonna also have to fix my line. We have just a few minutes left. Unfortunately, I wish we had more time. These things take a lot of time. Move him up. Alright, that's good. I'll leave him there. So you see just a little bit of update from the thumbnail, but not drastically so. I'll pull this down. Let's see if I can pull this down. Yes, it's pretty big. Awesome. So all I did was the free transform. I just pulled the line down, and that seemed to work pretty well. Let me see. Just line just a little bit right here. That should be fairly simple to do. Oops. Shift. Option delete. There we go. Save every time I think save. I'm gonna save. Zoom out and let's see. So this guy is fine. I think I can pretty much work with the rough. think I can pretty much deal with that. Rough is not so drastically different than I think my goal. So I will go ahead and back to my clean line, which is kind of part of it. Alright, and I'm gonna start just placing it down a little bit. 80, 70, and I'm gonna start to draw over. Still have just a few minutes left. Time went really fast, but nonetheless, I'm glad that we were able to draw together, and I'll be able to show you soon what the nice clean finish looks like. I'm gonna bring my drawing of my character that I'm using as my model down because this is a drawing that I did of him in my sketchbook that I really like. Let's see. What did I do? I hope I remember this. Oh, it's locked. No wonder. I wonder why. Okay, so let me zoom out. And I'm going to move this down so I can look at him while I'm drawing him over. And lock that back. Lock. And I'm going to go to my clean line, which I'm going to right layer. And I'm going to start to draw my evil wicked bad guy. Evil wicked bad guy. Okay, so let's go ahead and start drawing him again. Probably should use front reference of him. I have a front reference. Let's see. I know I do somewhere. Look at a look. Oh, excuse me for yawning. I wish I could apple pie right now. I really am trying to avoid gluten during the week. My new thing. I am horrible with bread because I love it too much. So I'm trying to avoid gluten, at least trying really hard for 6 days a week. And so Sunday will be my cheat day so I can eat bread, cookies, and cake and whatever I want. But for the rest of the week, I'm trying not to. But I really want some apple pie. But I'm going to try and wait till Sunday for that. So I don't know if there's any gluten-free options for replacement for apple pie. Not really. They do probably have gluten-free like pie, but it's not going to be the same. It's going to cost $20. Have you guys seen how much they charge for like gluten-free pastry? It's so expensive. It's like a deterrent in itself. It's like, if you really want some cookies with no gluten, how about $30? Like, really? So annoying. I hate it so much. It makes me forced not to eat cookies when I really want to eat cookies. So, anyway. Well, that's my struggle of the day. Right? It feels like third world problems, right? But whatever. I'm trying my best to hold out until Sunday. I already know, like I'm already like planning it already. I'm like planning it up. Okay, I'm gonna have coffee cake, have a donut, and I think those are like today I want apple pie, but I can't have it today. But by Sunday I probably be like, yeah, I don't want it anymore. I'll just take my coffee cake. I really just want the coffee cake. So hopefully I can have coffee cake. Today I'm just gonna, maybe I'll get a candy bar. At least candy bar is sweet. Merp. It's not pie though. Oh, am I complaining about pie too much? Trying not to. Trying not to. And here we go. And here is my guy who I'm trying to draw angrily. Always think of the emotion when you're drawing your character. Like, what's he like? What's his feeling right now? He's like mad. He's like, oh, he's good, blah blah blah. You know, so he's saying blah blah blah. I don't want to make him like so that when he's angry, his like nostrils flare. Always freak out when people's nostrils flare when they're mad. It's like I don't want to give him that effect. It's like you ever see people when they're really mad and they yell at you or something, and their nostrils get all like crazy, like they want to shoot fire. Yeah, that's this guy. He's gonna shoot flaming boogers. I know that's ridiculous, but oh well. It's my comic. I can do what I want to do. This is a lot of fun though. Once you get past like the drama of actually writing your comic, which is so hard for artists to do, especially like a full length like story, getting past the drama and getting past all the thumbnail, this is the part that's really actually a lot of fun. It's time consuming, but it feels like more relaxing to actually do. It's like the most me feel like rewarding because it's like this is like what's actually it's gonna look like. So it's like it feels like more like this is it, man. This is what I've been working for, you know. To come to this final look of it, and it's really cool. So I am enjoying this process. It is stressful, and it can be a little bit confusing, like trying to decide on the style that you want it to look like and stuff. I don't know if you guys have any questions about stuff like that. Not easy, but sometimes just gotta like pick something and just go with it. And if it's a disaster, then oh well, at least it's a finished disaster, you know, not an incomplete disaster. Nobody wants to make any kind of disaster, but I'm just saying, if you're gonna screw it up, at least finish it. Speaking of finishing it, I really want to finish my Good Girl Princess series. It never really caught on. Nobody was really watching it, so I stopped making my Good Girl Princess series. If you're ever one of the 2 people that actually watched it and were wondering what happened, nobody was really watching it, so I kind of just stopped making them. But I still kind of want to just finish the series. There are only a few more episodes left. I kind of finish. Maybe I will. I would like to. Oh, and it's time, guys. I know we didn't get to finish this drawing, but I think it's coming along pretty nicely. The way that I get to move feels like it's moving nicely. So that's a good thing. Underbrow, which is going. I kind of just want face though. I don't want to leave it in the mid face sort of. Let's get this in. Hopefully he looks intimidating. I think he looks kind of intimidating. Alrighty, guys. Get this ear in, and that will be it for now. Well, hopefully this has been helpful for you in some way or another. If it has, please give it a like, and especially if you haven't yet, please give it a subscribe. And if you know any of your friends who would benefit from this, who are making a comic or who like art talks or are trying to learn more about character or story or anything like that, and you think they'll benefit from it, please go ahead and share with them on any social media. And I just want to thank you guys again for watching. I want you guys to have a great, awesome day. And I just want to remind you once more, where is my camera? Thank you. To, where is it? Any day now. Any day. Okay, there we are. Remind you to be grateful, live balance, and be yourself. Have an awesome week. Don't think there'll be Figure Friday this week, but I will be here still at some point in time, whether it's working on this for the next couple of weeks to doing something. I think this is probably going to be the biggest project for the next while. So I'll probably be doing a lot of these on here. And what else can I say? But then be grateful, live balance, and have a great week. Love you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.